So lately I've been getting into the idea of using tackle storage trays in like a big tackle bag to store my jigs and other fishing stuff. And one of the things I noticed a long time ago is whenever you have storage areas in like a tackle box or a tray or whatever, curly tails stay in there just fine. They'll stay the same as when you put them in there. They won't get damaged in any way or anything like that. Tube jigs too will be fine in there. But whenever you put bucktail jigs in like a compartment like this, the hair on them tends to get tangled up, and on top of that they get all kinked, and then they don't swim the same after. If you just stack a big pile of bucktail jigs in here, it'll become a mess basically. So I tried to fix that problem, and I came up with this. I got one tray for 16th ounce bucktails, and then I got another tray for 1/8 ounce bucktails. And I'll show you how I made this. It's really simple, but at the same time I think it's really useful because these jigs just stay in there nice and firmly, but it's also very easy to take them out and put them back in. You can organize them, and they don't get, the hair on them stays perfectly straight, which is really important for them to swim right. The hair will become like kinked like this, and it'll stay like that permanently if you just throw all these in a big pile in a tackle tray in one compartment, and that's a problem I've had over the years. So basically what I did was I cut out these foam strips and put them in a tackle tray that I just bought off the internet. And the tackle trays come like this. I just bought these Gander Mountain ones to try them out, but they come like this, and these things come in them, so I just dump these out. And then, yeah, there's the other ones, they already fell out, I guess. And then I found this stuff at a arts and crafts store. It's polyfill bio-based foam pad, 15 inches by 17 inches by 1 inches, and how I made it pretty much is I took the foam and lined it up with the tray like that, sort of, and I cut out the strips of foam like this by marking them. So I take like a straight edge, take a marker, mark a strip, and I just used household scissors and cut the strips all the way down like that using the back end of the scissors. I took each strip and I ended up putting them, smushing them into these compartments, and what I found was you can cut it with a pretty rough edge, but it'll still look nice in the end because the rough edge will press against the edge and just even out pretty much. So I'll show you what I mean here. And another thing I found before I do it is that I was expecting to have to glue them in place, but they actually stay in really firmly without glue. None of these strips here are glued in, but at the same time, these are the heavier jigs, the 1/8 ounce ones. If I flip this upside down, none of them will fall out. So I put it like that and then shake it. None of the foam strips fall out and none of the jigs fall out. But at the same time, they're still very easy to take out, just with the lightest pull. It's amazing. It's like the perfect thing to hold a bucktail jig. So basically, to be a little bit more exact, the way that I found out was the best to get these to fit right and compress in there well. I still eyeballed it, but I kind of came up with a system for doing it. So if I line them up like that, pretty much, and if I go 1/4 inch too wide and an 1/8 inch too wide that way, they seem to smush in really well and stick there good. So just kind of eyeballing it. Let me get it onto the camera. So if I take it like that, and then get the marker out, and draw a line all the way across, just a light line, fine. It's just to guide you with the scissors. And put the straight edge over to the side. Break the scissors out. Make sure your line's still dead on. So this line's like right where I need to cut, so I'll cut a 1/4 inch to the side of it, basically. And put your tackle tray over to the side. And you just start the cut with the back of the scissors. Stuff's not difficult to cut, but you gotta use the hind end of the scissors pretty much. And I didn't really bother to be too exact. See, it's a little bit rough, but it'll still look nice in the end, even though it's rough. Just cut all the way across. Really easy. Just kind of follow your line. And then you have this strip there, and then I measured, sort of eyeballed the other way, the same way. If I line that up on that edge, both of those ends, over here, I can just make a little mark where it's like an 1/8 inch over, maybe right there. And then, I don't even know if you need to make a mark. You could probably just cut it right away. Just cut it off like that, and flip the marker side down, and then just push it in, pretty much. The one extra thing I did for this row is I cut a couple reliefs in on the bucktail trays that I already made. So I'll put it in a normal row, but basically all you would do to do this row instead of this row is just cut a relief right there, 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 and there. And by relief I mean like just cut into the foam like that. And you don't have to do that, but it makes it look a little bit nicer, because you'll get like little creases right here if you don't. But see, it fits in really easy, but it's very snug at the same time. And you just push in place. And there you have it. It's that simple. It doesn't fall out at all. And here, let me put a bucktail in it. I'll show you that these definitely aren't glued in place. If I stick a couple bucktails in here, like that, 1/8 ounce bucktails, and then flip it and shake it, they'll stay in there just fine every single time, no matter how hard I shake it. I'm shaking it pretty hard, and so there's no worries of them falling out. And then you just put in another strip here, here, and here, and you can put some reliefs in if you want. You really don't have to. And that's it. It's that simple. And you have an amazing bucktail jig holder to slip into your tackle bag. And your bucktail jigs will never be ruined again. One other thing that you can do if you wanted to, that I was thinking about doing, is if you take one of these and you take like some tin snips or something, one of these trays I mean, and you take some tin snips and you cut out each of these rows, because they're stuck in there. These aren't the rows that slide in and out, these things. You cut them out as close to the edge as you can. You can put in a whole piece of foam like this across except a little bigger and cut to the right shape, of course. You can put that in there across the whole thing, and then you won't have 4 strips. You'll just have one big block of foam. If you do that, though, you'll probably have to glue it in place to the bottom of the tray, because I imagine it's going to want to bow out at the middle. These strips are just nice and small, so they always stay in there nice and snug. And I didn't try it yet with the tin snips, doing that, because this just worked fine for me. But if you did do that, I don't think it would ruin the structural integrity of the box. I think it would be fine. So that's another option. And once you're done putting all 4 strips in, you have a nice jig box. It looks something like that. or like this.